Imagine just for a moment standing right there at the edge of history. You're looking at these ancient mysteries, things that have, well, puzzled people for thousands of years. And what if? What if some of the biggest archaeological puzzles are only just now starting to give up their secrets? And it's all because of, really cutting edge tech. So today, that's where we're going. We're doing a deep dive into what's happening right now beneath the sands of Egypt. We're focusing on two giants, the Great Sphinx and the Great Pyramid. Our mission really is to unpack some pretty intriguing theories, recent discoveries too. We're looking at sources talking about things like LiDAR, that's light detection and ranging, basically technology that lets you almost x-ray the ground, and another piece digging into secrets beneath the sand, specifically asking if there's a second Sphinx or hidden chambers.
Yeah, and what's really compelling here is just how close we might actually be to unlocking secrets hidden for, well, centuries, maybe millennia. These findings, the ones we're talking about today, they're genuinely starting to challenge how we've always understood these ancient civilizations. It really opens up, a whole new potential for knowledge.
Okay, so let's start with this something familiar but still, deeply mysterious. The Great Sphinx of Giza. I mean, it's just standing there, this huge lion body, human head,
Yeah.
guarding the pyramids. It just inspires this awe
Right.
and so much curiosity. Think about the size of it. It's, what, 66 feet tall? And 240 feet long. It's massive. Now, the standard story, mainstream historians, they usually link it to Pharaoh Khafre. But there's this growing feeling, this speculation that maybe, just maybe, it's older than Khafre. Maybe built by some earlier, possibly more advanced civilization. I mean, look at the precision carving on it. For the time period they usually place it in, how is that even possible? What are the sources saying makes people lean towards that earlier civilization idea?
Well, that's exactly where the standard narrative hits a bit of a snag. I mean, we talk about copper tools, incredible amounts of manpower, sure. But the sheer scale, the accuracy, it makes some researchers wonder if there were methods, maybe knowledge that we've just lost. The core mystery of the Sphinx, where it came from, why it was built, what it symbolized, it's still pretty elusive, honestly. Which leads to that big question. What was it really for? Was it just a guardian figure? Or did it have some, I don't know, deeper, maybe mystical purpose we haven't figured out?
Okay, so from one Sphinx,
Yeah.
we pivot to something even wilder, the idea of a second Sphinx. Now, this concept, it isn't brand new, apparently, but it seems to be getting a lot more attention recently. We're talking about another massive monument, possibly just buried, hidden under all that sand at Giza. This is where things start to get really interesting, connecting some dots.
Exactly. And it's not just, wishful thinking. Back in 1996, Dr. Zahi Hawass, everyone knows him, the famous Egyptian archaeologist, he actually hinted there might be undiscovered stuff down there. And since then, these geophysical surveys using ground-penetrating radar and other imaging tech, they've shown these anomalous readings, mysterious signs under the ground right near the existing Sphinx. The data strongly suggests something is buried there, structures, and maybe another Sphinx.
Wow. Okay, so if they actually confirmed a second Sphinx, what would that even mean? The implications are just huge, right? The sources we looked at suggest it might point to like a deliberate effort by the ancient builders to hide things, maybe monumental heart architecture, perhaps because of floods, rising waters, the shifting sands themselves, or maybe even political chaos. But let's push on that a bit. Are there counter arguments? I mean, what else could those readings be? What does mainstream Egyptology say about these anomalous signs?
Well, sure, some will argue it could be natural geology, rock formations, or maybe just misreading the data. That's always possible. But the patterns seem pretty consistent across different surveys, which makes the natural explanation maybe a bit less likely for some researchers. And beyond just finding another statue, it's the potential for completely rewriting history, isn't it? It really forces you to think, could this second one be older than the one we know? Or maybe be built by a totally different group, someone before the famous pharaohs? I mean, these finds don't just add a few footnotes. They could make us rethink the entire first chapter, pushing complex societies way further back than we thought. Maybe centuries, maybe even millennia.
Right. Okay, let's shift gears slightly, but stay with the Giza Plateau. The Great Pyramid, another absolute giant of a mystery. We all kind of accept the main idea. It was a tomb for Pharaoh Khufu. But there's more and more evidence suggesting it was, well, more than just a tomb. Maybe a temple, a place they stored hidden knowledge. Some even think it had, like, a spiritual or cosmic significance. A beacon, maybe?
And the reason we can even talk about this now is largely down to technology. Big breakthroughs, especially over the last, say, 10 years. Scanning technologies like cosmic ray muon tomography, it sounds complex, but it basically uses particles from space, muons, to kind of peer inside these massive stone structures. And doing that, they found these Mysterious voids, hidden chambers, basically, inside the pyramid itself, places we couldn't see before.
And the really tantalizing one, the big one, was found in 2017, right? This large unexplained space just
Yep.
sitting there above the
Yeah.
Grand Gallery, just fires up your imagination. What could be in there? The sources speculate, right?
Hmm.
Treasures, lost documents, or maybe
Yeah.
that lost knowledge of ancient Egypt everyone dreams about finding.
And this is where some people start connecting the dots between the two mysteries. There's this theory floating around that maybe the Sphinx and these voids inside the Great Pyramid, maybe they're connected. Part of some ancient system designed to hold or protect hidden knowledge. If you look at the bigger picture, it suggests, well, a seriously advanced understanding. Mathematics, astronomy, maybe spirituality, knowledge that somehow got lost over time.
Okay, and this naturally leads into the, let's say, more speculative side of things in the sources. The really big questions. Could these structures actually be relics from some super advanced ancient civilization, one that had technologies that just seem, well, out of place for that era? Or going even further out, where they built with help, maybe guidance from extraterrestrial beings who shared wisdom?
Right. And of course, mainstream archaeology tends to dismiss those theories pretty quickly, usually citing, the lack of direct concrete proof. Fair enough. However, these discoveries, the hidden chambers that are being confirmed, the potential for a second Sphinx, as the sources point out, they do sort of add weight to these alternative ideas. And that's why they keep capturing the public imagination so powerfully, isn't it? There are these persistent anomalies that the standard model doesn't fully explain yet.
So where does all this leave us right now, today?
Yeah.
It feels like with technology getting better and better, we might genuinely be on the cusp of uncovering secrets buried for, well, who knows how long, millennia. This whole search, it feels like more than just digging things up. It's like a journey back into humanity's oldest, most puzzling civilizations.
Exactly. It really reinforces this idea that these discoveries could unlock profound secrets about lost knowledge, lost technology, maybe even lost spiritual understanding. And, whether it turns out these monuments were built by some forgotten advanced human civilization or, well, something else entirely. The truth, whatever it is, seems to be waiting there under the sand. It hints at this amazing connection, perhaps, between our deep past and, well, our future.
So with every new scan, every anomaly detected, we get maybe a tiny bit closer to solving mysteries that have just fascinated and mystified people for centuries. It really makes you wonder, doesn't it? What else do you think is still hidden out there beneath the sands? And if we find it, how could those revelations change how we see ourselves, our history, maybe even our place in the universe?